Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Coaching Call podcast. On this podcast, we'll cover various types of coaching by trainers in sports, martial arts, fitness, and business. We'll discuss each coach's methods to getting the most out of their respective athletes or clients and how they attempt to change the platform in which they coach. Join us on a fun adventure as we discuss unique coaching styles. Coaching is a universal part of how we get others to get something done. Join your host, Rafael, and his guests on this unique journey in coaching.
Hi, I'm Sifu Rafael, and this is the Coaching Call podcast. If you enjoy this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. This episode was made possible by listeners like you. Camilla, thank you so much for being on Coaching Call. How are you this day?
I'm doing amazing, Sifu Rafael, and I'm super excited for this conversation.
You and I both. I'm so happy that we are both here. And thank you. So we can let our audience know where you're joining us from. Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Copenhagen, Denmark.
Oh, love it, love it, love it. And so we're worlds apart, but yet we're here together. So I'm happy for that.
So true.
So the way I love doing this show is getting to know you. So we're going to go from your childhood. Where were you born and who influenced you before you became a teenager?
So I'm born in Denmark, just outside Copenhagen city. And my mom and dad obviously influenced me, and as well as my grandmothers. Yeah, different ways. My grandmother, my mom's mother died when I was 18, and I enjoyed having company of my dad's mom till I was mid-20s. So probably she had more of an influence.
Tell me about her a little bit.
She grown up in the First World War. So there was a lot of saving, but she was also always very nicely dressed. She had fine manners, high level of integrity, and I learned so much about hygiene and how to present yourself when you wake up in the morning. That comes from my grandma.
Oh, very nice, very nice. And so you said that your parents were a big influence on you. Which one was more of an influence, your mom or your dad?
Ooh, I knew, and I loved why we're here. So two different profiles. My dad and just passed away, was a professional musician. So he learned me to enjoy the music. He was the one that was super, super calm when the storm came. And he was the one who always trusted me. So he was the role model, always to find inner peace, always trust yourself. I better knew. Right. My mom is a psychiatrist by training. And from her, I got these downloads of what I'm doing right now, not doing right now, but to do is to help people connect with their emotions. So from a very young age, I connected with my energy, my spirituality, but it was not that time in the 80s. You didn't talk about spirituality. But she influenced me, and I'm kind of going back to her roots, what I do right now. And
that's incredible how they influence you differently, but yet powerfully.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
Sorry to hear about your dad passing. When we think about the people in our lives that maybe we didn't know it then, right? Because we're young, we don't know any better. And we know everything, don't we, when we're young?
We do.
I realize the older we get, the less we know, right?
Oh, so true. So true. I had to actually listen to that statement more than once before. But it's so true.
Yeah. So talk to me about your childhood. What was it like? What was schooling like? What was friendships like?
So I always felt a bit of a lonely rider in school. more enjoying being home than after school, being with my friends who did drugs in high school. It was not me not drinking. So what I did, I think very quickly, I found a passion and I started really enjoying horse riding. And then I picked up my piano and dancing, my dad's traits, right? But I felt like being different. And I think that also impacted me because now we know that it impacted my subconsciousness, right? So I also felt different and kind of there was a rebel who just wanted to explore life, but also wanted to prove that I'm good enough. Maybe we're going into that later. And there was a conversation or a feedback from a history teacher in eighth grade that said, who said that I was not made to study abroad. And I just told myself, you're gonna prove him wrong. And I did so much. I was so committed to study that I proved him wrong. And I think that was the turning point of being so committed to going after what I really, really wanted.
Isn't it interesting when someone doesn't believe in you, they force you to become a better person? They force you to do something that maybe you didn't want to do. And there's a reason that person came into your life, right?
Now we know, right? Kabbalah, we know that's the soul right here. Yeah. That's true.
8th grade, huh? So you made a commitment to yourself to be better, to know more, right?
To prove him wrong. Because I so much that maybe I was 15 or so. I wanted to study abroad. I already knew at that point in time, Sifu Rafael, that I didn't want to go the normal way. I wanted to do something differently. I didn't know what different was. I just knew I was never going to find myself competing with all these people for the same jobs. Never, ever would I end up in competing with my colleagues and peers. That was not me. So I just knew I had to do something very different. So he was the one that catapulted my journey.
So when you realized you didn't want to compete with other people because you're unique, what did you find that helped you become unique?
That's a really good and broad, deep question. What helped me define what made me unique? Could you elaborate on that? Because I can go in so many different perspectives and angles from here. Where do you want to go?
So when you talk about that you didn't want to compete with other people because you're different.
Yeah.
You wanted more. You wanted different. You didn't want the same status quo.
No.
So how did you redefine yourself in
I,
order to become that person that doesn't have to compete with their peers?
I love it. That's such a powerful question. That's the reason why we're here, right? Because at the same time, we're also learning and reflecting. In hindsight, I said, what do I really enjoy doing? Is that just so deep, powerful? I didn't even know at that point in time. I enjoyed trade, business, and I enjoyed language. So I said, okay, I want to study abroad. So I found a university in Denmark where I could go abroad, and I found trainings and opportunities, internships that would take me abroad. That's how I did it. I didn't know at that point in time that was my purpose, but I just knew that I get to learn something that is really very close to my heart and that I enjoy doing.
And so when you went abroad, what was it that really inspired you to continue with your studies, with learning even more?
Oh, that's good and so relevant. So in Denmark, I can always when we were in business schools, there was these boring case studies, and I couldn't relate to that. I,
Right, right.
that was the fact. It was that I couldn't. It was not in what context was this all about? Studying in UK, it was real. Like go read the FT Financial Times. What is happening, and use that as your case study for your assignment.
Mm.
And I really enjoyed that so much more than an assignment I couldn't relate to at all.
Right.
And that way of thinking, as well as playing with the English language, and I discovered that the English way of living behavior was really part of me. So I just chose to do more of that. So I enrolled in an MBA, and then that MBA got me also to Germany. So that was a different way of teaching and learning that I so much more enjoyed. And I think that of meeting more people from different cultures that could inspire me differently.
Right, right.
All in all, it was just really a powerful experience.
Out of all those countries, which was your favorite one?
So that was England. I've definitely. So I ended up working for BP Shell IBM out of London for more of half of my career. Definitely half English. So
I
I
hear
enjoy
you.
it.
I hear you.
Mm.
So when you did start to work for someone, what was it like, and what was your first day? What was the experience like? What was the excitement or nervousness like?
That was good. The first day. I think Mel, I just want to share something in between, if that
Sure,
is okay.
absolutely. Let's go for it.
So when I did my BA business admin in UK, I just knew I wanted to. Everyone was encouraged to do the MBA. That was back in the late 80s. MBAs were just new, like the new training on the block. It costed a lot of money, and it
Right.
was only for a sec, right? I was not a sec. I just graduated. I was like very, very young in my career journey. I just knew that this was me. So what I did, Sifu, was that I went back and I claimed to my parents, I'm going back again. I'm just here to find money. And that was a lot of money. And I found that money from
Mm.
different sources. What happened was that then when I came back home, wanting to find a job, and said I had an MBA from UK and Germany, they say, rather than giving me a job, the CEO said, how was it to do the MBA? How hard was it? I didn't get a job. So actually, that was kind of the downside of
Mm.
having an MBA when you were 24 back in the early 90s, competing against people who didn't even believe you had
Right.
an MBA at that age. So back to your question, having then moved to Germany to work for the foreign ministry, I came back and I was so excited to finally come back to Denmark to have this job.
Mm.
And I was nervous, but I was super proud to have landed this first, I think it was marketing assistant job. It
Nice.
didn't take me long to find out it's not me. So I went back to the UK. But
Yeah.
I was very excited.
Excited, but were you nervous also, or you were comfortable?
I was comfortable. That's
Mm.
what I remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Nice.
nervous in that I was not nervous in a negative way, but no,
In a
I was
positive
just
way.
super
Positive.
excited,
Yeah.
passionate, and super excited to get started. Yeah.
Mm. Nice. Nice. So talk to us about how you evolved throughout your years,
Mm,
because you're not the same person that you were when you were in your 20s or when you were 15, and you keep rising and you keep evolving into your authentic power, right? How did that happen for you? And that had to be not necessarily a short journey, but a worthwhile journey.
I love that. If my first boss from
Yeah.
BP is ever watching this, I'm sending love to her, Kirsty Bashford.
Mm,
And I know many if people tuning in from BP know Kirsty.
mm,
I was so lucky. So after a few jobs where I said, "This I can't grow here. I'm ready for more," right? Then I applied for a job at BP in Denmark, and Kirsty, who was VP, was just relocated, pushed out from UK, going out, being in the country, and she read my application, and she could see there was something greater than
mm.
the job that I applied for.
Right.
So they actually called me back after the interview and created a job for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And started off on paper as digital marketing, business digital, whatever. It was just before that, everything was going digital. Before I joined, I got a better position. And Kirsty, even my body's responding now, is the one who really started to pull down all my social constructs of not being good enough, of this the yandelope we have in Denmark. You don't not about bragging, but don't tell and don't own what you're really good at.
Mm,
Kirsty helped me understand, just be you and own it in your heart.
mm,
And that really kickstarted that from, I think, 30 to make career planning every single year. Talk to execs. I was always working out from headquarters in BP. If I want to be here 5 years, what are the steps? So
mm,
I was being way ahead from people who never done that before, but I was kind of trained from my very start in my career to think that way.
mm.
But what shifted also was that when you don't have a report to a manager who supports you and see your greatness, suddenly you're up against something, up against someone
Right.
who doesn't see and value what you do and what you're really good at. And I think that was also turning points where I started not to believe in so much in myself because I didn't have my cheerleaders around me.
Mm,
But I think what really shifted was when I decided to go solo, establish my own business. And people have encouraged me for years, more than 10 years. Goal is do your own business.
mm,
Me, no. But then I realized that when you leave Big Blue IBM and you start on your own,
mm.
you get to have someone on your team. I chose to have someone on my team. I just knew I had
Right.
someone to win that. How do I navigate these challenging conversations? And that was the moment my personal growth really catapulted.
Mm. It's it's interesting when you said I didn't have my cheerleading team with me.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh, you mean I can bring my own cheerleading team? I love it. I think that we should all have and if we don't have a cheerleading team, and then we have to always, I always say, look in the mirror because that's your biggest teammate, right? So that's your biggest supporter right there. But sometimes some people look in the mirror and they have doubt, have fear, and that's what they're looking at. But I think we need to turn that around, right, for everyone, so that everyone can rise the way you did, right? To listen to those people who said, you know what, you need to leave Big Blue and go on your own, and you said, you know, I think I will. I think I will. How scary was it to leave such if you think an organization and do it all on your own, how scary was that? Or how rewarding was it in the beginning? Was it hard? Was it easy? Share with us so that anybody who's considering doing that now can say,
Mm.
I need to reach out to Camilla. Maybe she can help me navigate this, right?
Yeah. How was it? It's a good question. I think if dear listener or people tuning in, if you're meant for more, it's time to follow through. And I think that came in for me, in my case, suddenly that was the job kind of opportunities were stalling in Denmark, and I was working in different countries. But when you've been traveling for 10 years, it's kind of, maybe I'm done flying business and all that stuff, right? So I just knew I was ready. I think it was both such a adrenaline. Yes, I'm doing it, but then afterwards you sit there and I miss this boss. I miss this one, and then you realize I need to have my own professional team to reach out to, because I cannot vent, right, publicly. So it was a big journey, but I would never go back, Sifu. I would never go back to be a corporate employee anymore.
Yeah. I left corporate in, 90. So a little while ago.
Can you remember how that was, that decision?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty easy for me. I kind of left it because I said, I need to do me. I need to take care of my passions, my goals, my drive. And I knew early on what I wanted to do with my life. And it's pretty interesting, right? When we get that download, if you will, that this is how you need to move forward, no matter how scary, no matter how many people are going to say, you can't do this. What's wrong with you? Like, well, you know what? I'm not going to listen to you, because guess what? You weren't there when I was down, right? So, and I got up on my own. And you're only seeing it because maybe you're afraid to do it. Don't put your fears on me, right? So I think that's one of the things that people have is, especially if they have somebody that loves them, and that person who loves them says, oh, they don't want to see you get hurt. So they don't want you to go out and do things on your own. Stay with a steady income. Stay where you are. Why are you rocking the boat? Right?
Exactly. Don't make us nervous.
Yeah. So when you and we gave this episode an actual name, we called it "Rising into Authentic Power" with Camilla, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? Rising into authentic power.
I love that. Okay, this is deep. What I learned from all my years in corporate is that so many of us wear masks. And sometimes I found myself dimming my light because I was afraid of people who played with power the wrong way. Bigger egos, and now we know that they are just they're afraid of losing control, but I didn't have that insight. But I knew I was not showing up as I could. I was not able to guide the way I could, because out of fear, conforming, okay, then we do that. That means also for me, I was not authentic. And not being authentic at work and having to perform to be liked is draining. So when we talked before this conversation, rising into authenticity, of being authentic, is to learn to be in the room to serve other people. And I was training a client yesterday on it. It's like, okay, you get to learn to ask questions because you want to set the other person up for success. That question may be, and my body's responding now, so uncomfortable. But if you don't ask that question, that could be just the question that could unlock everything. You're not serving as you could. And I was there when I was trained to become a better leader, a better coach. I wanted to serve, which means that I have to be truly authentic and love what I do. And I keep rising into being an authentic personal leader because I want to serve.
Thank you for that, and that's so powerful. Talk to us about your healing from psychological abuse. How did you even begin that process? Because it's not an easy process for some people to do.
No,
You did
thank
it.
you. And I even wrote a post on LinkedIn today about this. I'm very vulnerable, but I've been asked from my mentors to bring more of me into the play because most of my clients can relate to my story.
Right.
This is so vulnerable to share. I get to share, right? But also want to share. When I started my solopreneur journey, I was still in that relationship, playing as everything is fine, right? Then I had some mentors on, and having worked together for about a year, there was something she couldn't crack because I kept saying, Sifu Rafael, everything is fine at home. Everything is fine at home. And she said, Camilla, there's something I don't understand. What is really going on? And in that is really about serving, being authentic and caring for your clients. And I broke into tears. And I said, I am so scared being in my own house. And I told her things that I haven't told anyone before in my life.
Wow.
I get emotional. All right. That was the kickstart of how good I was at wearing masks. But deep within, I was so afraid of who I was sharing bed with. Started believe that we could heal, but then after years, I decided to decouple. But that decoupling, very shortly after, he chose to step into a next level of manipulation and opened a court case that took about a year and a half. And you know what? He opened another one yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're going back. We're repeating. So it's serious too. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But now I'm a different person. I'm not
Yes, you are.
consuming my fear, right? And I see that soul in my life. That soul came into my life because I tolerated way too much. I was giving away too much. I was prioritizing everyone else, but not loving myself, not respecting myself.
Right.
But in that decoupling and in that long journey, I had to learn not to consume my emotions, learn to what it means to really be me, learn what energy was, and learning if I want to heal my daughter, I have to heal first.
That's it right there.
That's how
That's powerful.
I had people say you had a choice. For me, I had no choice but to start rebuilding or reconnecting with who I really am.
Yeah, that's very powerful. Because a lot of people don't, like I said earlier, look in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
Or they'll look in the mirror, but they say, I don't like that person looking back, right? And we're supposed to love ourselves, aren't we?
We should.
1,000%. 1,000%. I always tell people, listen, don't wait for someone else to love you.
So true.
Be the first one to step in and say, I love you.
I love me.
Oh, yeah. Every day. This morning I woke up. I'm going to tell you, I woke up an hour and 50 minutes before my alarm. Almost 2 hours before my alarm. And I was awake and I was like, okay, I'm just going to get up, go take a shower and go do about my day. So, but while I'm in getting ready in the bathroom, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you got this. You are a gift, right? And I felt incredible. And it's not because I lost sleep, it's because I had a purpose that I had to fulfill, and I listened to my purpose.
Purpose is everything, Sifu, and there's so many people who are struggle right now because they haven't found that purpose. Purpose is everything.
Yeah,
Didn't I have my purpose, I wouldn't have been able to. I traveled through that divorce chapter with as like thriving through it and serving my clients at the same time. Hadn't I had that purpose of helping other people regulate their emotions in the moment and believe in themselves? Purpose is everything.
Absolutely. Let me share this video with you. Take a look.
You followed the rules, tried the restrictions, counted the carbs, the steps, and the failures. You're not lazy, you're exhausted from doing it all without real change. What if the problem isn't you, but the plan? Sifu's Mind-Body Method is a 90-day transformation built on 7 unshakable pillars: mindset, movement, nutrition, hydration, fasting, journaling, and faith. This isn't another shortcut. It's your structure, your strength, your reset. You don't need harder, you need better. Ready to begin? Start today.
Every day we have to reset.
Yeah.
Every morning I wake up in gratitude, right? And even when I go to sleep at night, I first thing I do is right before I close my eyes, I pray, and I thank God for the gifts He's given me. And the same thing happens when I wake up, like this morning. That's the first thing I did. So Camilla, you went through this divorce, but are you fully divorced if he's doing something else again?
Yeah.
You are. Good.
I have to. And may I just double down because this is so important.
Sure.
If we, and I think same as your clients, right? They see them part of themselves in your journey. So I help a lot of women who carry emotional baggage. And even though they've been divorced for 15 years or so, if they still feel triggered when they talk about it, they haven't healed.
Yeah.
He still controls, or she still controls them. They have given power to them. That's why I knew how important it was to heal myself and forgive him and see the double blessing for having him in my life and not being angry, right? So I'm fully divorced.
I love that. I love that because when we use anger, when we use fear, we're giving away our power, and we don't want to be weak in any sense of the word, right? And so I love that you help women
who may have struggled either in the past or are currently struggling to find their authentic power. What's one of the first things that you walk into maybe a person you just met and they start telling you how they need your help? What's one of the first things that you want to kind of, besides a hug, right?
Yeah.
What's one of the first things that you want them to start to understand about, or what they maybe went through or are going through?
Mm. So there's many different like angles into this conversation.
That's what I'm about, all different angles, you know.
It is, and so that's one very important thing, is that people say they're broken. They're not broken. They are absolutely fine. They are enough. That's loving yourself. That's so important to understand. It's also important to understand that and that's why people come in, right? They are triggered to, and oftentimes it's not maybe the first thing that we talk about, the divorce. It's people come in because they want to be a better trusted advisor, and I pick it up in the language, and they feel blamed by the CEO, or they're not seen, and then say, "Tell me about your childhood. How was your relationship with your mom? How was your relationship with your dad?" And then we dive into, they were not seen, they were not respected, maybe the mom. So they've been carrying wounds for years.
Right.
And so when the CEO may say something, maybe that CEO reminds them of their ex. So that's just a few different perspectives that we may very quickly dive into, because what I say to every client, I trust you. And if you trust me back, we can go really deep in less than 15 minutes. And it happens.
It's trust is such an easy thing to get rid of and a hard thing to claim.
Double down.
Yeah. Sometimes we have to double down to get the trust, right? To build. So let's talk about building trust. How do we build trust with someone who has lost trust, not necessarily in us, but has lost trust in other people and even in humanity? How do we help them to establish trust once again?
Yeah. That's so deep. This is my my perspective, but we all have a choice what we want to believe to be true.
Mm-hmm.
And we forget that. We forget because we haven't learned it in school. I had to pay a lot of money to understand that it's my choice how I want to show up, what I want to believe.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than blaming everyone else why it's broken, say, what do you really want to believe in? Who do you want to be in that room? I had a conversation with a new client yesterday, and I could very quickly pick up that she didn't believe in herself.
Mm.
Who do you want to be in that room?
Right.
We have to, we have to really dissect the relationship with ourselves and start taking back control of who we really want to be or become.
Yeah.
And I say to people, I trust you. I'm giving carte blanche. I trust you 100%, even though I don't know you, because I'm here to serve. If you're ready to step, like I don't say that in training, but in for this purpose, is that if you're ready to leave ego and be right, and ready to really get unstuck, trust me back.
Yeah.
Those who are stuck in ego, judging other people, that conversation will break because they don't trust me back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a give and take, right? I like to change instead of give and take. I like to change it to give and receive. Because too many takers are in the world, right? So if we can learn to receive it, I think it's a little bit better.
And
I
we don't
think
want to
that,
take.
yeah, no, go for it. A lot of people, because they've been taken so often that they learn to become takers, and some people are afraid of saying, I don't want to seem greedy. I don't want to seem like that kind of person, and so they stop receiving entirely.
Hmm.
And so I think one of the most important things is that if somebody even gives you a compliment, is just to say thank you, right? But be genuine. Maybe even thank you is not enough. Maybe you have to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to receive that. I'm going to take that. Thank you.
And
And
don't give it back.
yeah, no givey backs, right?
No. But in that moment,
Yeah,
where we
receive.
struggle, we just receive.
Yeah,
Be worthy enough to receive. But often it's like, oh, thank you. You are nice too. It's so uncomfortable to have it. I had to learn to receive and
mm,
just receive. Thank you.
yeah.
So powerful.
So I don't know if you ever saw The Big Bang Theory, uh,
Mm.
with Penny and Sheldon, and there was an episode where she bought him a gift, and he got so upset because now he had to buy her a bigger gift. So, but that's not. And it was a funny episode, but when we think about life, it's not about what can I give you more than you gave me. It's about receiving what you gave me, and if I can give you something, but it's not about beating you and doing more than you did, right? And I think a lot of people feel that there's anxiety that builds up with people, like, oh no, they gave me this much value, I got to give them more so I seem bigger and better, and all this stuff. And so a lot of times when I give a gift now, I ask them what would they like, so I don't go buy the wrong thing, right? I do that with my kids. I do that with my fiance. I say, hey, I just said to her the other day, what would you like for the holidays, for Christmas? And she goes, I don't want anything. I'm like, don't do that, because I know you're going to get me something. And what winds up happening is I'm going to get you something that you may not necessarily like. And then you're not going to receive it the way I want you to receive it.
So beautiful.
And even though you know what I'm going to give you because you're the one telling me what it is, it's still, it's still coming from my heart, but it's going to feel better for you because you're getting what you want anyway. So, but some people have a hard time with that. And I taught that to my children. So my children, I don't go and buy them whatever I think they should have. I say to them, what would you want? Right? I have an autistic client. He's 25 years old. And this boy, because in reality I don't think he'll ever be a man. His age will say he's a man, but he's sometimes he acts like he's 4. Sometimes he'll act like he's 14. Sometimes he'll act like he's 20. And the other day he says to me, Sifu, I make a list every year. I'm like, tell me about it. And he goes, oh, I make this. He goes, what do you celebrate? I said, I celebrate Christmas. He goes, I celebrate Hanukkah. I said, I know you do. He goes, but I make a list and I share it with my mom. And then she puts it up in this thing. And I said, that's pretty cool. He goes, you want me to show you the list? He goes, every year I make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And he showed me last year's list. It was bigger than Santa Claus's, right? It was so cute. This list of all, and I started looking at it. It's all this stuff, all this stuff. And I said, so how much of it did you get? He goes, I said, did you get it all? He goes, no. only some things. I said, but were you happy? He said, yeah. I said, okay, great. And so he goes, let me show you the list for this year. And this year's list was maybe 30 items instead of 3,000 items.
Oh,
And
really?
I said, how come your list is so small this year? He goes, because I don't know what I want. I said, okay. I said, but Hanukkah's is not next week. It's not tomorrow. You still have time. He goes, oh, I know. I'm going to keep building my list. So it's cute when someone is so innocent, like he is so innocent, that he wants things. But then also, when he doesn't get certain things, he gets angry because he doesn't understand the concepts, right? But so every time I've ever seen him angry, I ask him, why is he so angry? And he goes, because nobody wants to treat me the right way. And I'm like, well, let me ask you a question. Are you treating them the right way? It's not about that. I'm like, oh, yes, it is.
It is.
So thank you for sharing, the fact that you are helping so many women understand that their value is so much more than they even imagined, right? Talk to us more about why you have this passion to help other people.
My passion to help other people, and especially help them be greater than their faults, is that I started below zero when it came to emotional intelligence. I did not know what emotional intelligence was. I had to learn it the hard way. I also see the gift in my own life of being able to, in the moment, regulate my emotions. I have to I shared with my mentor this morning that yesterday, this letter from a governmental body tipped in, and I kind of knew, okay, now we're starting in again, right? So here's what I did, Sifu, because my passion is to help other people and women be emotional, strong, resilient, also in room with toxic people, because we can read them. We don't have to dim our light. There's a reason why they're there. So what I did, it was a make and break, but I wanted to prove to myself how resilient I've become. I read that letter 5 minutes before I went into a gig I wanted to land. I landed this new gig with flow. Closing the loop, that when you can, don't give meaning to anything that doesn't set you up for success. We come a long way.
Right.
And schools don't teach us emotional intelligence. Business schools don't teach us emotional intelligence. Companies don't do it because most people in corporation haven't yet started the personal development journey. So I'm so passionate to help those who are ready to build a greater life, teach them what emotional intelligence is all about, so they can create more success without working harder, and be seen as that trusted advisor and find the true calling in life. That's the reason why I'm doing this, because I'm a living proof.
I love it. I love it. I want to share one more thing, and then I want to come into why you're the founder of Authentic Leadership Movement. Let me share one more video with you. Take a look.
The city never sleeps, and neither do the dreamers who build its pulse. From every corner of the globe they come. Visionaries, creators, leaders, each carrying a spark ready to ignite the world. This is not an event, it's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds, a movement of momentum. Sifu Rafael, Lancelot, Jose Escobar. Together they set the stage for brilliance. This is the NYC experience. Mastermind, light up the city. They coming from the east, coming from the west. Knowledge on deck, put the truth to the test. leaders in motion, hearts in sync, dropping wisdom so deep it'll make you think. They bring stories, sweat and flame, different faces, one shared name. Elevation, that's the sound. NYC Experience Mastermind, where purpose is found.
Yeah, you got to
I love
move
it.
with that song. You got to move.
Exactly. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. So, authentic leadership movement. Talk to us about that, because I think that that's what the New York City experience is about. We bring all these incredible leaders together, and so we learn to collaborate, we network, we continue to focus and grow and help one another. And that's why I created the New York City mastermind experience. And when I created it, and I said, as a leader, I don't want to do it by myself. So I brought Lancelot as a partner, and then I brought Jose as a partner. And the three of us are creating this thing because I think it becomes a mastermind when it's not just one person thinking all these things through, but it's everybody collaborating, right? So I think that's why we're doing this leadership journey, if you will.
And it's so beautiful. And there was so much in that video that resonated about resolution or a revolution.
Mm.
And supporting your amazing mastermind coming up in a couple of days. And just wish that I lived in US, like in US.
Don't worry, we're coming to Ireland. You're going to come to that one.
Yeah. But for me, going actually back to where we started about from a very young age about picking up on energy.
Mm.
What it means to me, what it means to be authentic is to see people as people are. We are often put people in boxes. And the more I dive into myself, the deeper relationship I build, the more interesting it is why people go with disc, because people love boxes.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that is the right way to see people.
Mm-hmm.
We are all souls. And what I teach and train my clients is see the soul behind the name, behind the title. And here's something that is not spoken, but it's so important to talk about, is that even in C-suite, even at the CEO to board, title, we're giving way too much power to the title. So the reason why I created the authentic leadership movement is to just allow yourself to be you in that conversation and see the soul behind the title. Take away the title, take away the name, just see and be curious about the problem you're there to help solving.
Mm.
And that shifts, like in the moment when we dive in, he's like, wow, he's just a person. Yes, he is. He gives so much power to the title, because when you give power to a title, how can you ever be a trusted advisor? You get to advise and feel that you're on the same level as them,
Mm-hmm.
not different levels. It's wrong.
Yeah, yeah. I see people as people. And when somebody comes to me and they're like a celebrity, I know so many celebrities that I'm like, wow, you're a celebrity. I'm like, no, you're another person. You just have a different job than I do. Right? That's all it is, right? And when we look at titles, I just met somebody who's in the royalty, and to me, it was just the person. I didn't care about their title. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is how they treat each other, how they treat the people around them, and how they see the world, and if they're looking to make a difference in the world. Because we all do have a purpose, and how do we share our purpose in a positive way, not in a me way, right? That's
It's
a
not a
taker.
purpose.
That's a taker.
Purpose.
So when we think about power, So many people have had power and they use it to hurt.
Yep.
And then what would have happened if those people in that power would have used it to help? Where would we be today?
Yeah.
Mm,
But they couldn't do it because we know that hurt people hurt people.
correct.
I experienced it myself first, right? Really, right? And that's where we just have to, in my view, have to elevate or grow our emotional intelligence to understand people who don't show up as the higher self, and learn to read people and don't be consumed by what they say, either join their movement or be triggered by it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can start creating a better, at least better home environment, better company. And then we struggle at a higher level, right? But there's also the pendulums and precedents and what we have.
Right.
But there's always people, because who have been hurt. We all carry emotional baggage. But it's about learning not to stop being a victim
Mm.
and to heal.
Camilla, you talked earlier and you just said baggage, and it made me think that you flew all over for business. And every time you had all that baggage, if you had to take baggage, it was cumbersome, it was bothersome. And if you had just a little carry-on bag, it's easy. You get on the plane, that's it, you're done. You get off, you go. So why are we all carrying this emotional baggage? Why don't we just carry a little bag instead of all this baggage, right? So when we think about what we've endured, I don't think that we should bring that into every single conversation.
Mm-mm.
I think what we should do is bring the beauty of what that endurance or that trauma has brought out. I think that would be a wiser way for us to negotiate our relationships. It made me think of a married couple, and all of a sudden one of them sees one of their ex-girlfriends or ex-boyfriends, and then the other one gets jealous. And I'm not a jealous person, so I only say, why are you jealous? If somebody was jealous because maybe I saw somebody, I would go, why were you jealous? I'm with you. I chose you. I had chosen them earlier, but it didn't work out, right? And so I think that the way we look at our current state is that we sometimes show up in fear and doubt. And I think it's important for us to say, hey, you know what? I cannot control anyone else. I can only control myself. And that's why I'm not jealous. When I was a kid, when I was like 16, 17, I was dating people, I used to be jealous. And then one day I said, wait a minute. Why am I jealous? What's that serving? It's not serving me. So I stopped being jealous. And even my fiance now, she goes, you're not jealous. I said, no. I said, why should I be? And I said, listen, if you're going to cheat on me, I can't stop you. And if I ever think I'm going to cheat on you, I would respect you first and tell you first. Even before I decided I was going to go cheat, I would have to come and confess to you, I'm thinking of cheating. We've never had that conversation, right? So it's how we treat one another, right?
Yeah. There's so many things that is showing up for me. We always have a choice how we want to show up in each and every conversation.
Yeah.
I had to learn it the hard way. I had to learn it when I was late 40s. But that's it.
Mm.
And I think what you said earlier about the hierarchies and so on, luckily, despite what's going on in the world right now, we come from World War I, World War II, a lot of respect for hierarchies.
Mm.
But we also have evolved as human beings and understand what neuroscience really is. And when we tap into that and understand that I can't blame you while I feel a victim of my own life, I am actually the source for my abundance.
Mm-hmm.
Let me play full out, even though someone would rather pull me down.
Mm.
And I think when we all understand this, there will be more happiness in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you and I can talk for a long, long, long time, probably days and weeks and so forth. But it has come to that time where we're ending the show. What I would love for you is take 45 seconds. Tell us why somebody should join you on your website. What can they find on your website?
Yeah.
It's going across the screen, everybody. It's CamillaCalberg.com. Just go, make sure you click on it.
Yeah, make sure that you click on it. So what we're doing at CamillaCalberg.com is really to help people going from I'm playing small, I'm not being seen, I don't feel respected, to step into the room, reading the room, scanning yourself at the moment so that you can show up as a trusted advisor with abundance, with happiness, with flow, and be fully present. So if you feel that right now you don't show up being fully present, that you hold back your voice, then reach out, because that's the different courses on CamillaCalberg.com. We are launching courses where you can download them or do it on your own pace. And we also filling different master classes. But it's really for people who are done playing small. So welcome to this world as well.
Yeah, love it, love it. Camilla, wow. Thank you so much for taking time from your crazy busy schedule to be here with me. I really, really appreciate the time we spent together, and I look forward to spending more time with you. So thank you. Everybody, make sure, do me a favor. Not only follow her website, but share this show with somebody who needs to hear what messages were given to you today. And somebody else needs to hear it, right? And if you watch this later on, hit hashtag replay. So thank you, everybody, for watching, and God bless you. Camilla, thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. All right. Don't go away, everybody. Have an exceptional rest of your day.